sadhu prema sprishati shuchira dhanmanumana. How this sadhu, this beautiful prema, how it can touch my heart? It cannot touch my heart because it can only live in the pure place. If the place is not pure, love will not live there. And how it can be pure if this Ramani, if this completely dirty, contaminated woman of pride is dancing there? You know, he says that if this Pratishta is dancing there, Sanatana Goswami, he made another comparison. He compared Pratishta in the last verse of Hari Bhakti Vilas. He explained in Hari Bhakti Vilas everything which one should follow. This and that, Ekadashi, all the different minute rules, how to, take Diksha, everything which is there. The last verse he says, that when everything else is beyond you, when you have already overcome all the impediments, there is still one impediment in the heart of an aspiring devotee. And this impediment is Pratishta, pride. the desire to be special, the desire to be special devotee. I'm very special. I'm very special servant of Krishna. This desire, you may overcome everything else, but this desire is the last desire which we will still have to overcome if we want the experience of love, if we want the experience of prema. And Sanatana Goswami says that this desire is so contaminating that this is like the stool of a pig, of a hog. You know, and stool of a hog, it's a very special substance, because our stool is a result of eating something nice, but hog stool is a result of eating stool. So it's a double stool. It's not just simply stool. Our stool is contaminating, but it's not that bad. The hogs, they eat stool and then they produce stool. I don't know how they manage to do it. It must be something really nasty. So Sanatana Goswami says that this pratishta is this desire of fame, to become famous as a great devotee or great something or this and that. This is the last thing, and it's the most contaminating thing. If even a trace of this thing is there in our heart, no love. You know, we can see this amazing story here, depicted here, that Indra, he knew that Krishna is God. He knew it. Still he couldn't do anything. Why? Because his heart was controlled. Controlled by this completely contaminating mentality of I'm God. I want to become God. I don't want to become anything else. I want to prove, to show to everyone that I am God. This pratishta is there, and this pratishta is a very dangerous thing because it can creep very easily into our heart. It may take a very innocent form. You know, it may take, you know, it can be dressed in a sari. You know, this Ramani, this woman, can enter into our heart in a very nice way. You know, having tilak and, you know, japamala, you know, in her hands. It's very subtle. There was a nice story once in Prabhupada's life, his preaching. The devotees in America, they made some mistakes, and therefore they created not a very good image of them. So they decided to, initially they were distributing Prabhupada's books in dhotis and saris, but then they decided that it's probably better to wear karmic clothes. And they started going out in karmic clothes, and you know, there was some results, and everyone was very enlivened. But still, there were few devotees. They were thinking, "No, this is not good. This is not good. You know, why do we have to hide ourselves? We have to go, you know, openly. Good idea, isn't it? Why don't we go openly in dhotis and saris?" So there was a group of these devotees. And they wanted to show that this is the way, this is the proper way. And during Prabhupada's marathon, they took a vow. We will go out on the streets and distribute Prabhupada's books only in dhotis and in saris, in tilak. And because they were so convinced, they hadn't success. They get out of the temple and they were distributing lots of books, and they were so they was far out. And naturally they felt, we are better than other devotees. And of course, this feeling will not be complete unless somebody else knows about it. You know, you have to inform others about this feeling. And you have to share this. I'm better than them, and this and that. So ultimately, they wrote Srila Prabhupada. They said, Prabhupada, what do you think about, that we're distributing these books and it goes on nicely, we're distributing it in these saris and dhotis. Prabhupada, what do you think about this idea? And ultimately, they definitely expected particular answer. And we all know what was the answer. What should be the answer? The answer should be yes, you're great, yes. You're superior, yes. Of course, yes, right. You're right. Because when we feel this, I'm right, somehow or other, we still need confirmation from others. Yes, you're right. And if nobody confirms that we're right, we feel something not so good. Anyway, they wrote to Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada wrote back an amazing answer to them. Listen very carefully. This is how the spiritual master takes care of our problems. Srila Prabhupada wrote a very simple sentence in reply to this. He said, if you feel more comfortable distributing condolences and saris, you can do it. It's okay, no problem. Completely, totally smashing all their hopes to prove it. If you feel more comfortable, that's no problem. I don't mind. And this is how Prabhupada showed, this is the mentality. This is our mentality. Look at your mentality. And they immediately, it was as if, the mirror was put just in front of their face. And they saw that, what's going on in our heart. Before that, they didn't know. They didn't really understand what's going on. Before that, there was seemingly good thing, They're going openly, we're not trying to cheat anyone. Still, the pride was there. And the pride completely, totally, diminished all the achievements which are there. As soon as we become proud of our achievements, it basically means that there's no achievements. Because the only achievement which you may have is the achievement of humility. The only real achievement which may be there in the life of a devotee is the achievement of real humility. When I'm happy the way I am and the way I can serve Krishna. That's it. That's the achievement. That's the only achievement which we should aspire for. To be happy where I am, and to be happy by the dint of my service to Krishna, by the very fact that I still can serve Krishna. And Krishna, of course, he might do amazing things. If somebody is genuinely humble, Krishna will use him as a perfect instrument, because we become perfect instruments of Krishna, in the hands of Krishna, when the real humility dawns in our heart. There was another beautiful story of the same sort. That was a story in the life of Saint Francis. Saint Francis was an amazing person, and because of his genuine humility and genuine renunciation and genuine sincere faith in God, he developed tremendous power of influencing people. It's actually the rule. If somebody becomes genuinely humble, then amazingly enough he becomes tremendously influential. You may think that if somebody is humble, he's not, you know what it is. No, but humility is the greatest force in this world. Why? Because when one is humble, then the Lord himself is using him as an instrument, and he is working through him, and it's Lord's influence going through this particular person and influencing other people. So this Saint Francis, because of his integrity, genuine integrity, he became very influential. Whenever he would come, initially people would deride them, and still they would deride them, seeing them in a very, humble attires, in rags. But then, as soon as he would start speaking, everyone would be mesmerized. Everyone would be just listening. And then the flock of people would flock around Saint Francis, asking him for advice, asking him, what to do in life, and getting his counsel, this and that. So there was one person in his group among Saint Francis associates, Matthew, and he was from a rich family. He was very beautiful. He was very eloquent in his speech, but nobody cared about him. And he also was renounced. He also put rags, and he was also begging together with Saint Francis. But somehow or other, everyone was after Saint Francis, and nobody was after him. And he was, in his heart, this Messiah was just there, and he didn't know. It was burning from inside. Burning and burning and burning. And once they came to a city, or to a town, and again the same story repeated itself in every city, in every village, the same kind of story. Saint Francis would become the center of attraction of everyone. And the crowd was around them, and everyone was asking, what to do, and this and that. And ultimately, Matthew, it was too much for him, and he started screaming. When everyone was just asking something, he started screaming, "Why Francis? Why Francis? Why Francis? Why not Matthew?" No, he didn't say this, but why everyone says, him. Why? And Saint Francis looked at him, and he smiled, and he said, because I'm very sinful and very useless. And God, in order to prove and to show to everyone that we ourselves cannot do anything, and He Himself can do everything, has chosen me to influence other people. Because I'm so completely, totally useless and insignificant, so God has chosen me and not you to influence others, because He wants to show that we ourselves cannot do anything, and He can do anything. He can do everything. He will do everything. So that's the point when somebody becomes genuinely, and that's the greatest achievement. If we achieve this simple quality of thinking about ourselves as we are. Humility doesn't mean that we start thinking about ourselves as somebody else, as something else. Humility means we just very realistic about ourselves. That's it. I am what I am. Hare Krishna. Welcome. That's me. I'm not trying to show anything. I'm what I am. And I know whatever I do, it's not me who is doing it, it's Krishna who is doing it through me. And I always, mindful about this fact. I always remember that it is Krishna who is working through me. And I myself, what can I do? I cannot do anything. I'm just insignificant living entity. And then Krishna may choose you as his instrument, and he will do it. You can see there are innumerable examples of saints in the history of humanity who were very influential people, the most influential people. Why? because they were humble. As long as I am proud, Krishna's love does not touch my heart. And Krishna will not also have anything to do with me. But as soon as I become genuinely humble, then amazing things may happen in my life. And therefore Queen Kunti says, Janmaishvarya Shuddha Shibira Damana Madahuman Naivarhatya Vidhatum Tvama Kinchina Vachara. She says that this pride is intoxicating oneself. Doesn't matter what is the reason for us to be proud of, whether it's our birth or our influence or our opulence or our education. We may become proud of our knowledge of the Shastras, Shruta, or it's our beauty. She says, no, Janmaishvarya Shruta Shibya Edamanam Madapuma. All these things, they only increase, completely increase our intoxication, our intoxicated state of consciousness. And therefore, Naivarhaj Abhidhatam, such a person cannot, he is not na eva arhati, he does not deserve. Arhati means somebody who is deserving. He does not deserve to pronounce the name of God with genuine feeling. If somebody is proud, he does not have a chance, because the genuine feeling will not be there when he calls for God. He will be chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And at the same time he will be thinking, I'm okay. It's not bad. I'm doing great. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Yeah. I will achieve success. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. I will do this, yeah. And everyone will appreciate how I'm doing. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. And everyone will look at me, because I am all attractive, little reflection of Krishna. He's all attractive and I'm all attractive. So everyone should be attracted to me, right? No feeling. The only someone who genuinely feels inside his heart, I don't have anything, really, I don't have anything. Krishna, he has everything, I don't have anything. Only he can call Krishna's name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So that's the problem, because the pride. The problem of the pride is that it deprives us of the most amazing experience and most important achievement. And therefore we should only strive towards humility. And therefore the society of devotees is very important. We cannot become real devotee if we are alone. No chance. We will only imagine how great we are. We will meditate on Krishna, but it will be useless. One can become a genuine devotee only if he is in the society of devotees, together with other devotees, chanting the holy name. And therefore this chanting, when we are together chanting, And when we are cooperating with each other, chanting the same tune, not everyone the different tune which he likes the best, but the same tune. This chanting is called Sankirtan, which means perfect kirtan. You can perfectly glorify the Lord only if you are just a humble voice in a big chorus of voices, singing in tune with everyone else. Then it becomes Sankirtan, which means perfect kirtan, perfect glorification of the Lord. And you don't try to, show to God how glorious you are. Don't worry, God knows how glorious you are. You don't have to prove it once and again. So, real glory is to become the servant of the servant of the servant and to cooperate in the society of devotees, serve humbly at the temple, follow the rules, and in this way try to create the genuine feeling of humility in our heart. And then all other problems will not affect us. Sometimes people ask, what to do with karma, lust, what to do with anger, what to do with, all other problems will be cured at once. As soon as this feeling of genuine dasattva, the servitude, will dawn in our heart. So there's no chance of getting rid of kama and krodha and lobha and matsaya unless we change our ego. When the ego of servant is there is no kama. Love comes on its own accord. Anyway, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai. Swami Bhakti Gang Swami Maharaj ki
Jai.
Some questions, Maharaj?
Okay. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you very much, Maharaj, for a wonderful class. I can very much relate to it, due to big false ego and lots of pride. So I'd like to ask a question that you mentioned that Pratishta remains in the heart up until the sort of very end, last stages. And also that as long as pride is there in the heart, then we're denied really the love coming from God. So, of course, this sounds a little bit like a contradiction because the pride is there until the end, and all through that time, how's the love going to get in? So, just wondering how can that work for me?
So in the verse which I quoted by Raghunath Goswami, Pratishtha Drishta, it's actually not even Pratishta, Pratishta Asha, the desire for fame. Pratishta Drishta Shvapacharanani Mehridina Tet Katam Sadaprema Spreshati Suchiratanamuna Sadatvam Sivasva Prabhudayata Samantam Atulam Yatatvam Niskashit Varitam Ihatam Veshayati Saha. Raghunath Goswami gives the recipe or remedy of this problem. He says if you feel that this pratistasha, the desire for fame, for distinction, is there in the heart, and there is only one way to get rid of it. That is Sadatvam Sevasva Prabhudaita Samantam Atulam. You have to find genuinely great devotee of the Lord. He is Samanta Matulam is like the commander-in-chief of devotees. Sadatvam Sivaso Prabhu Daita Samanta Matulam. And he is very dear to the Lord himself. You should find such a devotee and you should try to serve him sada, constantly. And if you serve him constantly in your mind, if you acquire, why it's necessary? Because God is far away. We can imagine ourselves to be his servants, and that's one thing. But if there is a devotee in front of us, and he, the service becomes immediately real. When it, that's why Ritvik doesn't really work. You can imagine yourself to be servant of, doesn't matter. Srila Jiva Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or Krishna, Prabhupada. That's one thing, because the advantage is that they will not come to you and they will not say what they really want from you. But if there is somebody and you try to constantly serve him according to his desire, not your own desire, then your ego will change, and therefore Raghunadas Goswami says, Sadatvam Sivaso Prabhudayata Samanta Matulam Yathatvam Nishkashya Tvaritam. Very quickly, this lady, this obnoxious lady, which is dancing in my heart, will be driven away from it. Ihatam Veshayati Saha, and this prema Veshayati Saha will take her residence in my heart. So that's the saying. I do not what I like, not what I want to do. I do what somebody else does, and this somebody else is a devotee of the Lord. And I follow his order. I do what he wants me to do. So that's it. That's the only solution. There's no other solution to this. That's what we're supposed to do. Yes.
Thank you, Maharaj. Still, it is said, as you surrender unto me, I reward you accordingly. So if it's not prema, or if it's not...
you may get money, no problem. You may get something else, you may get paid. Yeah.
All right, it's okay, but it's not prema, or it's not, let's say, part of prema. This, we still have pride, but let's say pride is less than before. So some kind of love should come in, some kind of reflection of love maybe, or something. What exactly, what's the name of it? Otherwise, how will we go,
Of course, it's not black and white. You try to surrender to Krishna, and Krishna appreciates your endeavor for surrender. And he may reciprocate with your desire to surrender to him in a very, amazing ways. He may send you more and more opportunities to surrender to him unless your surrender is complete. That's what he usually does. You show a little of interest to surrender, he will take full advantage of it. Gives you newer and newer ways of surrendering to him. The problem is that when there is a new opportunity to surrender comes, we usually rebel against it. Without understanding that this is kind and loving reciprocation of Krishna with our desire to surrender to him. He says, this is too much. This is, I'm ready to do this, but not that. This is too much. He's asking for too much from me. So he sends us a very adventurous experience in life as a reciprocation. That it will become clear to us, the impediments will become clear to us. In the beginning, we are all pure devotees. Every single one of us is a pure devotee in the beginning. Something happens over the years when we practice devotional service, we realize that we are not that pure. But in the beginning, it's so pure. Yeah, fine, yes, right. I am, yes. That's about me. Amazingly enough, how they know about me so much. And then we know about ourselves a little better because of Krishna's kind reciprocation. He shows to us what we are.
Thank you, Maharaj. I had a question. Like, I always believed when we leave this body, soul moves on to the other body with the subtle body as well. So mind, intelligence, and ego that goes along with the soul. But I just happened to heard in last couple of days that soul, the ego dies with that death. So I just wanted to understand how it happens.
Yes, see, as much as there is some transformation in our physical body, of course, very drastic one, during the process of death, the mental body also undergoes some transformation. Ego cannot hold, because ego means, false ego means identification with the particular material body which we have. And that's why the death is such a painful experience, because you have to leave everything. You have to leave completely your ego. There's nothing. So, therefore it is said, Krishna says that dhirastatrana muhyati, the only dhira who is totally detached, he is not bewildered in this moment. We are very much disturbed and bewildered because we don't know, we try to hold for this body, it doesn't really work, what is our next destination, we don't know, we're in complete darkness, we are totally afraid. It's a very traumatic experience. And when the child is born, his ego is not really formed. Therefore children, they learn so quickly because there's no ego. Ego starts forming, the real ego is formed when you are around 15 or 14. That's the ego time. You're completely, totally, you're in control of your body. You think you're in control of your body. Your body is young and fresh and nicely looking, and you think, I will make it here. Nobody else could do it, but I will. So the ego definitely is not there, because when the soul is there, ego is element of ego is there, but the tendency to identify with the matter is there, and the craving, the desire to identify with the matter, but there is no identification as such, because you really don't know with what to identify. And that's, we also undergo these crises during the lifetime. It's not only at death we undergo such crisis, like the middle age crisis of the middle age, the famous crisis. It's because the body changes, and therefore the identification changes. We don't know with what we should identify, with the previous body which was young and healthy, or with the new body which is wrinkled, and look at it, look in the mirror and see, who is that ugly guy? And the mirror said, that's you. And that's crisis in itself. You know, me? No, cannot be. So that's crisis. The crisis of ego. All the crises which we have are the crises of ego. And we don't really know who we are.
Thank you for a wonderful class. The question not related to actually. Thank you for a wonderful class. And the question not much related to the class. Can you tell us about Moscow Temple? Just in a few words, please.
Moscow Temple is a special project sent by Krishna to us to make us really humble. Because nothing goes according to our desire. But somehow or other, by Krishna's inconceivable mercy and will, we are about to start the construction of this project. We will start the construction, hopefully if everything goes right, in the end of August, beginning of September, and in June we will have groundbreaking ceremony for this. We are trying to figure out where the money will come from. That's a big mystery to me. But I guess Krishna will take care of it somehow or other. And after long attempts to get everything, we finally got the final paper recently in April. And that's the last paper which has, political connotations in it. There will be still few papers pending, but these papers are purely technical in nature, so we will get them. It's just a question of fulfilling certain technical desires. So it seems like we are going to build it, and I guess Krishna still has some tests to make us even more humble. Because it's not easy. Anyway, I guess that's it. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai.